Today I'm going to show you how to disassemble and clean a Sauer P365 magazine. This is a pretty simple process. It's a good idea to clean your magazines each time you clean your gun, especially if you've been to the range and maybe you drop your magazine and dropped it in the gravel or in the dirt. You want to make sure nothing got in here that's going to impede the proper function of the magazine. You want to just take your magazine upside down. You'll see this hole in the bottom. Take a pin punch or even a small screwdriver, something like that. So just push that pin in a little bit. So just press it down a little, press it toward the front. Now, very important to keep your thumb over top here, because once you remove this base plate, there's spring pressure that's going to want to push. There's spring pressure is pressing up, and you don't want this to come up and hit you in the face. It's also a good idea to wear eye protection at this point. And then you can pull the spring, kind of work the spring back and forth as it gets hung up on these little edges here. So just work it back and forth and pull it out. Then you have your follower. This is your floor plate in the bottom. They're all kind of connected to the spring. You can pop them off if you want, but it's not necessary. Alright, and then once you have it apart, we're just going to clean up the pieces real quick and put it back together. Okay, so the Sig user manual calls for wiping the magazine tube and the follower with a cloth, and then cleaning them with a soft brush and some CLP. Basically, wipe down the tube. You could push a cloth through the tube to clean the inside. Wipe down the follower. This is the follower. Wipe that down, then wipe down everything else. If it's not too dirty, this is going to be a really quick job. Wipe down your base plate. If you do have some dirt build up on here, I would get a little drop of CLP. That's a cleaner lubricant protectant. I like to use original gun oil because it's non-toxic and it doesn't have an odor to it, so I don't have to worry about getting it on my fingers. Put a drop on a brush. Clean the inside of the tube real quick. You can do the outside if you want. Clean the follower. And then wipe that off. It's going to come up nice and clean. Then again, push a rag through there to get all that CLP off of there. Get it nice and clean. Alright, and then now the user manual calls for some CLP on the outside of the magazine tube and on the spring. I presume that's for corrosion resistance. Just get a drop on a cloth. You really don't want much. Wipe down the outside of the magazine tube. If it feels oily, you can just lightly wipe it off so it's not oily feeling. And then take that same drop and just run it down the magazine spring. Alright, and then once all that is done, you just need to put the magazine back together. Then to reassemble, it's going to go back together like this. So push your spring in. Work it back and forth if necessary to get the spring down in there. Again, being very careful not to hit yourself in the face. You'll see how the base plate is kind of shaped like the bottom of the magazine, so you know you have it in the correct orientation. Put your thumb over that, hold that tight. Take the base plate, it's got some slots on the end, line those up with the slots on the side. Kind of like that. Then now you're going to have to push this base plate down far enough to get this over top. So make sure the slots from the tube are in the slots of the base plate. And just kind of slide that up until it snaps in place. The top of your magazine is going to look like that. Now what we want to do is test everything. So you just want to press down, make sure it moves up and down. What I like to do to make sure the magazine is put together correctly and is going to be working properly, assuming you have a 9mm firearm, take some 9mm dummy rounds. I use A-Zoom snap caps. These are just dummy rounds, completely safe. They're just fake ammunition. I like to put 5 dummy rounds into the magazine. So I will load the magazine with 5 dummy rounds. Please be sure that they are dummy rounds. Make sure your firearm is completely empty of real ammunition. Load the magazine, chamber one of the dummy rounds. I'm just going to simulate firing the gun by racking the slide. Each time I rack the slide, one of the dummy rounds should be extracted and ejected from the gun. And after the 5th time, because I have 5 in there, the magazine will be empty and the slide should lock back. So I'm just going to do it real quick. Alright, so that worked beautifully. so I know my magazine is working properly, and that's a good test to do. If you found this video helpful, please hit like below, please subscribe, and please check out the description. I have links for dummy rounds down there. And thank you for watching.